Hey
Hello.
Steve,
How's everyone?
good. How are you?
Great.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
Eating dinner, so I'm going to stay off camera.
No, no problem.
Why is scratching now? Oh, that's not.
Thank you all for joining. I greatly appreciate your punctuality and your interest. We're going to give it just a few minutes and then we'll get started.
Sounds good. Do something. At least he's out there. Right. Let's stay there. Door. Wonderful eat now that we're eating.
All right, patient people, let's get started. Thanks for joining. It's like when we get on a Southwest flight, it's like if you're not here for STARS meeting, then you might be at the wrong place. But and appreciate your patience as I admit other people along the way. Um, okay. Again, thanks for joining. Pam, I saw that you are on via the phone. Can you hear me? I don't see you up here on the screen. Pam, can you hear me? Hang on just a second. She sort of needs to be. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. So I think just looking around the room, many of you may have participated last year or may be familiar with it, but and generally everything is going to be very similar this year. But thanks for joining because this really gives everybody an opportunity to hear about the stars, about the timing and so forth, and probably most beneficially to ask any questions that you might have. We're fortunate to have at least a few of the star artists from last year, Aaron, Kathy, and Melissa. So thank you for joining. And so they can also give you firsthand knowledge. I think if you've joined or you're considering doing a star, and you think, well, I've never done this before. Well, you're not alone because I don't think anybody's ever done anything like this before. So they can certainly answer your questions about maybe the apprehension you may feel at this point, and also the excitement and the technical perspective of what they did and used to create their own stars. I love this project because it truly helps to bring your amazing art out into our lovely community. And as you might hear a couple more times tonight, this is, I think, just a surreal experience. Certainly, I believe for the artist to be able to walk down Mercer, see their art there, that's going to be there for years to come. And but also to celebrate your art, and I think the transformation of Dripping Springs that is taking place as we see this round of art, which will be spread more widely across the Dripping Springs area. So I think all that is really an exciting thing. Let me just check. I know. Okay, so Pam is, we're still waiting on Pam. And Pam, for those that don't know, Pam King is the manager over at Destination Dripping Springs. And she's been an integral part, as well as Lisa Sullivan from the city, in collaborating with us and making the whole STARS project possible. So I think she's having a little bit of an issue logging in, but hopefully she'll be in a minute and she can give you a little bit of background as well. Um, in the meantime, why don't I just go through a little bit of the process so that everybody's familiar with what the process is for STARS. I think and hope it's pretty well detailed on the website and on the STARS page. But if you have any questions, we'll also take those as well. So STARS is opened and the applications close on May 23rd. So you have about a month to apply. So the application is online. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. What I would certainly emphasize is this is not a finished product. It is an application with your background, but then probably most importantly, there's some pages toward the end where you can share the design that you have or the idea that you have for your star. You can submit several if you would like to. Um, Again, this is not expected to be a finished product on that design, but it does give us and the judges a lot of insight into what your ideas are and and what you're planning to do with the star. And that becomes a pretty big part of the decision-making process. So all that is due May 23rd. We've already gotten one in, so it's not a laborious project that should take you a month to do it, but I know everybody's busy and has other things going on. So plan accordingly for there will be no late entries accepted. So May 23rd. Shortly thereafter, we have on the list June 6th, but it probably won't take that long. We'll come back and let you know who's been selected. So what happens between the 23rd and June 6th? So the DSAL is going to be putting together a team of judges, anywhere from 3 to 5 judges. They are fellow members of the Art League who are not participating in the STARS project this year. And they will remain anonymous, as the judges from last year will always be anonymous. And their role is to take the information that all the artists provide, both background information and the design concept, and they will review it and narrow it down to probably I would I would guess 15 to 20. So last year we had 6 stars. This year we will have 9 stars. And so they'll narrow it down to probably 15 or 20. They'll look at it by category, which is there's an additional category for children, but otherwise the categories are the same, and you can see those on the website as well. And then after they do that, then they will have a second meeting with our judges and people that are city representatives that are going to join the discussions. And together they will talk about identifying the final 9 stars and a few alternates in case somebody is unable to fulfill their obligations. And so that's the process that will happen. It's pretty transparent. Um, if any of the once we get all your information, Jennifer and I will redact anything that we think identifies you, your name, or that or website, Instagram, that sort of stuff. So the judges should have no idea who the applications are from. If they feel like they've seen that art or that design and believe they know who the artist is, then they may excuse themselves from the discussions over that person's art application. Otherwise, the process will go through with just looking at each of the applications by number. They will make numbers. Once the city and our judges decide on the finalists, they will share them back with Jennifer and myself. We will look up the numbers that each of the applications will be assigned to, and then we will then be able to identify the names of the people, and then we will share the winners. Um, as you can see on the application, there's a number of other pieces of the timeline. Shortly after the June 6th announcement, the stars will be available, I believe, at a storage bin in downtown, and we will coordinate dates and times for you guys to pick up the star. And so you'll hear more information about all that if you're one of the winning applicants. There's some check-ins during the summer just to make sure that you're on your way. Some people, I think last year got done very early, and other people had other obligations during the summer, and it took a while for them to get started. You can work at your own pace, but we just want to have a check-in to see how things are going, if you have any questions, if there's any issues, that sort of stuff. And so we'll do that periodically during the summer. And the last one being in August. The final completed stars are due on September 22nd. So you would need to bring those back to more than likely the same storage place in Dripping Springs. This Then you're basically done. The city will take those stars and bring them to a contractor who participated last year to coat all the stars. And so you do not need to, nor should you, do anything like coating the stars. You just need to finish painting them and turn them in, and then we'll take it from there. The city will put them up. They will put the
Mommy, don't
labels up
give me this
and
one.
so forth. And then the unveiling is scheduled for October 25th. I know for those that were part of the process last year, our timeline slipped quite a bit. Um, but the city has done a fantastic job of really coordinating this with the manufacturer who was really the cause for the delays and figuring that out. The stars are already ordered and due in sometime in May. So we believe that this is a good timeline, but it is always subject to some change. I think what I'll do next, because I need to check with Pam and see if she's going to be able to join us, is if Aaron first, and then Kathy and Melissa can talk a little bit about your experience, anything you want to talk about the experience, but also how did you do it? What did you do? What were some of your maybe perhaps biggest issues that you had along the way? And then we'll also open it up for questions. Erin?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. Sorry, my two boys are at soccer practice. So I'm over here on the fields, walking the fields while they're practicing. Um, it was such a great experience. You definitely need a truck to load it and get it back to your house. I have a big Honda Odyssey van that kind of fits everything in the kitchen sink, but it did not fit the Star. So that was one thing good to note. And using house paint, that was really great because you want to make sure that it can withstand up to UV rays. And I just went to Home Depots all around the city and got the little samples, the sample colors that people have discarded, which are only 50 cents each, and kind of mixed colors from there. So that was another trick that I learned that I thought was really fun. Goodness, I'm trying to think if there's more little tips or tricks I could add to it, but it definitely took me a full 6 weeks to get it finished. And that was definitely working late in the evenings. Gosh, does anybody have any questions?
What size brushes did you use?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I primed it first with a giant brush, and then on some of my base colors, I did like a giant house brush. And then other than that, I went the full gamut range because I did so much detail, like kids' hair and their dresses, and then rocks. I think I painted rocks for like a solid 4 weeks. It's just the design I chose. And so I wish I could give you better information of what size brush, but I kind of used them all.
No, that explains it because I was like, that's a pretty big star. I mean, I can't imagine that you didn't use a house paint brush on some of it because it's so big.
Yeah. Yeah, which it washes out easy. I never really worked with that medium too much before, but it was really fun. It's almost like, I mean, Lee, I'm sure she could give more detail to this, but it was kind of a mix between acrylic and oil in a sense. Like the colors blend really well. It's really easy to manipulate. Easier than acrylic, I think.
Did you have an air-conditioned space to work in? Because I know this was over the summer.
No, I didn't. I was in the garage with a fan and peanut M&Ms. What I survived on.
Well, thanks. We may come back to you as we go along and have other questions. Kathy, Melissa, things you want to share, and then we'll see if there's other questions.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I might have to jump off. I'm so sorry because my kids are done. I'm sorry about that, but I will answer any questions via email if you need me to, or anything I can help with.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sorry, I'm such a moron. I don't know why this was so complicated for me.
Oh, no problem. You're not a moron.
Well, clearly, I've got my laptop open, my cell phone, my tablet. I'm trying every machine I have, and nothing's working.
I've had those kind of calls myself, so no worries. I gave him a little bit of an intro, Pam, and then went through some of the timeline. Erin just shared her experience, and then she just had to jump off. Why don't you, if there's anything you want to share from the city's perspective about the project or anything that you think they should know, and then we'll ask Kathy and Melissa to share their experience as well.
Sure. Well, I'm not sure how many of you are here, but I'm thrilled to know that there is interest and that you want to continue to grow this program. We've had nothing but positive feedback on phase 1, and we're very excited about phase 2 and potentially 3, 4, 5, and 6 moving forward. So my long-term vision is that we have a minimum of 25 of these stars throughout our community in ETJ. So Steve probably told you this, but phase two, which is what you're participating in, will include all of our parks. So that's the Triangle, Founders Park, Ranch Park, Charo Park, Sports Park. So those parks are all included in this phase. And then we've been working, we've confirmed one business, Flying Fish, and we're very excited that one will be located on their property or adjacent to their property. And then we're working with two other commercial companies that we're hoping will sign on with us as well. All of them are excited to stay within the parameters that we're asking you to stay within. So we're not for asking you to do anything unique or geared towards those businesses. However, I would encourage any one of you to think about the idea, and Steve, maybe you said this, think about the idea of including water. Obviously, Flying Fish is a swimming school. They don't want a swimming pool and they don't want kids swimming, but certainly the idea of the creeks or the dripping springs or something about water would be really awesome. Whether or not it's at Flying Fish, it would just really be a great identifier for our community because we're named after dripping springs. So that would be very cool. I don't know if Steve talked with you about one of the major differences will be since this project is not located in one solid area like phase one was, we're looking at some more creative ways to try and unveil these stars. Looking at, moving more towards Halloween and the idea of possibly encouraging the community to trick or treat through the stars on a Saturday or Sunday potentially. So it would be more family oriented perhaps, but certainly a really fun way to engage the community and our park and rec department. Since the majority of them will be on their property, it would be just such a great community day for all. So that's what we're looking at on our end at this point. I don't know, Steve, if you talked about that bottom triangle area at the base of the star.
I have not yet. No.
Okay. One of the things, so I'm hopeful you've all had a chance to look at what's already out there on Mercer Street. They are just spectacular pieces of art, and we're thrilled with the way that they have survived the elements. After the winter that we had this winter, it's clear that they are rock solid, and that the vibrancy of the color and the integrity of the pieces have remained. We were able to finally get our plaques up on those limestones, and all of our stars will be on those kinds of pedestals wherever they are in the community. That's what they will look like with plaques like that. So you as an artist will be acknowledged on the star, on a plaque on that limestone pedestal. One of the things we're looking at as we're moving forward is some of the artists in phase one, there's a small triangle at the base of the star that sort of feels like it's holding the star up. Some of the artists incorporated their designs into that little triangle. What I would ask is that you not put artwork down there, and that you leave that space. Either you use a complementary color or a part of the colors that you've used in your design to put a background in that space so that we can use it to identify potential sponsors and some other things that just for some continuity's sake for phase two, because there's some things we're trying to work through moving forward. So from my perspective, I'm in awe of the creative juices that all of you have. I am proud to say, I've told Steve, we've had 3 communities throughout the state of Texas contact us about our project, how awesome it is, what it would take to do what we've done. And all of them have been told by me that while a community can do it without an art league, having an art league and having all of you with the knowledge and the wealth of resources that you have has just streamlined our project process. So we're so very grateful. I think I got it all, Steve, unless you think I missed something.
I think that's pretty good. I also think that it's a great opportunity to get your art out, not just on the Star, but I know you're featured on city websites. You're
Yes.
featured on ours. I think Community Impact.
Yes.
Century News, and some of the neighborhood magazines have all taken pictures and shared those and some of your stories. And so it's a great opportunity not only to be part of the experience, which I think is perhaps a once in a lifetime sort of
Yes.
thing, but also to get your name and the rest of your art portfolio out into the public.
So yes, thank you, Steve, for reminding me. So the stars that are currently in phase one are all featured with the artists, a blurb about them all on the city's website as well as Destination Dripping Springs website. As we move forward and we then add from the first six to an additional, hopefully 11 in phase two, we will be creating a brochure that will be accessible both in print in near our office and other places around town and online. And our goal is for people to tour our stars, and that this is a tourism asset for us and an adventure for people visiting our community to traverse the community and visit the stars. So your star will remain in perpetuity in our community. There is no plan to end this project. There's no plan to have a lifespan on these. So if any of you are here in 25 years, I hope you'll see them. I hope I'm still here and seeing them too, but I know I won't be working for the city anymore. But I do, I think that this is one of those few opportunities to really have a very long-standing life for your art and a connection to you. And we'll get better at what we do in terms of our online promotion of it and long-term. And there will be sort of a key slash map kiosk outside of the visitor center that'll also identify you, the artists, and your stars. So probably lots more exposure than many other things you've done. That isn't why you should do it, but we're thrilled that we're able to give you that opportunity.
Mhm. Also, well, two things. I want to perhaps belatedly let you know that we are recording this so that we can have it on the website for anybody that wasn't able to join. And the other thing was, if you participated last year, whether you were selected or not, you can certainly participate again this year. If you submitted some things and you want to resubmit them, you may do that. And or you can submit completely new designs. That's up to you.
But you must resubmit, Steve, right?
Yes, you have to resubmit even if it's last year's designs. Okay, Melissa and Kathy, anything you want? Well, please share your experience and anything else that you'd like to throw in there.
Okay, hey guys. First, Steve, thank you, and thank you. Steve just put an article out on, so thank you for that. That was really really awesome. And then yeah, just the stars are such an really fun process. It was cool because my mom and I we both did it. And so like we had one star that we kept in my brother's room and one star that we had in the studio. And so I did my star first, and then we like switched off, and she did her star. We used the golden acrylic paint was our medium, and it's not as smooth as house paint. Like we were just talking and we're like, oh, I wonder if like the house paint would have been smoother. But yeah, it's definitely like, but we enjoyed the pro like really enjoyed. I just love to paint, so like I found it was really fun. It's a lot larger than you'd expect. Like you go and you're like, oh, we can do this, and then you start painting, and then it takes a lot longer than you'd expect. But it's one of those things that it just, the more you do it, the more you kind of get more comfortable with it, and it's really, I don't know, I just thought it was really fun.
It was really fun. And we both have very different processes.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Melissa's more of a free, I mean, she can wing anything. She does a lot of murals, so she's very comfortable working large format.
Yeah, I think I didn't trace it out. I just went for it with my design, which
Yeah.
is kind of opposite.
Yeah. So she's like a really good drawer. So she just kind of, did you draw it out with a pencil first? Like, I love talking about this part of the process because a lot of people don't talk about
Yeah.
this part of the process. It's kind of important.
Honestly, I started doing it with chalk because the pencil wasn't showing on the star. And so if you use chalk, it's so much easier to see the lines.
Yeah.
But then it started mixing with the acrylic paint, so I stopped using chalk and then I just I just painted it.
She painted it. Yeah.
But I know my mom had a really interesting process. So
Yeah, so my process, I am a graphic designer by trade, and that's where my comfort zone is. So when I got this big star, for me, I had to, well, my creative process with a lot of my illustration work is I'll draw it out, I'll trace it on tracing paper, and then I take a picture of it, and then I put everything into the computer and I build it. I build everything in the computer. So for this, I it was a very planned process where I researched the animals and what animals like were in Ranch Park or what animals were native to Texas. Because I want to do oh, this is another thing. Like I really want to do a book after this
based on the star.
based on the star. But so, I said, all right, well, if I'm going to do this, I got to really kind of plan it out of my head. And I wanted to tell a story to get the viewer to flow through the star because it's really big. I know when you drive by, it doesn't look that big, but when you're doing it, it's so big. And there's two sides, and
There's
there's all
edges
the edges
are like a foot.
more than
Yeah.
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 So that in itself is
That's something that we
one,
both
two,
did.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah, there's so
9.
many of them.
Yeah, there's like 9 really paintings that you had. It was a lot. So how I did it is I drew it all out in the computer first so I could see the negative space and the positive space. And if you are somebody who like does stuff like that on the computer, it was really great because I figured out my palette and the colors. So it's funny, I was talking to a young lady the other day who she's a graphic artist, and she's like, "Is that cheating?" And I'm like, "No, it's planning, it's planning stuff out."
It's working smarter.
So, but it was really interesting, and I just am blown away how Melissa uh works her stuff because she plans it in her head and I have to plan it on paper. So it's just it's wild. And the other thing that was really interesting is there's a texture to it. So it's
Yes.
not smooth. So drawing it out, oh, so how I had it in my computer, how I drew it out on the computer, I ended up going to Print Plus, which is our little printer here in town. They're awesome.
They just changed ownership.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Mhm.
But they're still awesome.
Yeah, they're so
They're really
nice.
nice. And they have architectural paper. Maybe I'm not saying it right, but they're very large format sheets of paper. So what I did is I took it in the computer and I sized it to the size of the real star, and I had them print out black and white line art. So where this girl, she could just draw it out. Mine was very complicated, and I am not Michelangelo. I couldn't just do it.
No,
So
I remember FaceTiming her because I was like I wasn't home at the time, and I remember FaceTiming her.
yeah,
And every time I FaceTime her, she was in front of the star painting or like tracing. She showed me like the giant architecture paper. I was like, this is crazy.
it was kind of fun seeing the architecture paper.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I taped it up to the star, and then I used carbon paper, if you guys know what that is. It's like tracing paper, and I used white because there's
Star was
an
like a gray.
if the star was gray, so like usually you think of carbon paper as black to make the black line. Does everybody know what that is, the carbon paper?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So I figured out you can buy white carbon paper, which was something I did not know, on Amazon, and the sheets are like this big.
So then you like tape them
And I
together.
taped them together like I was in college. And that's how I drew it onto the star. So I thought that was kind of interesting to share with you guys. Um, thank God for that, because I don't even know if I could have drawn it out.
I know. I was like,
I
the way
mean,
that you came up with that, I was like, that's so clever. Like translating like your digital, because you're so prolific with the digital work, and then putting that. Because was that the
yeah,
largest you've done in a
that's
while?
the largest I've done in in a
So
while. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool to see how that
So,
came together.
And
yeah.
I think you probably mentioned the star is primed.
Yes.
You don't have to do anything to it before you
Yeah.
start.
And the paint went on beautifully, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both used the golden, so golden
Yeah.
was golden.
Golden. And I like to smooth mine out a little bit because
It
I'm
is
not a big
thick.
texture girl, so I used a lot of water. So I made my undercoat more liquidy, like wash paint, and it worked great. I mean, the acrylic was working
You
great.
definitely have to do multiple layers. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Lots of
yes. With
layers.
the acrylic, you got to
Be
do
very prepared
yellow was
for lots of
yellow
layers.
was a bit.
Yellow, orange, even magenta.
Yes, the
So the
reds and stuff.
magenta, yeah.
Hmm.
Did you run into any issues or problems that you didn't expect?
The transparency of the acrylic.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
That's what took so much
Yeah,
time.
I'm like, I need a lot of yellow on this. And that took a lot of time.
Yeah. I was running out of time. I remember I was running out of time and it was like 2 days before I had to go for my children. I was like, okay. It's like, we're gonna just stay up late and try to get it done. And we did, we got it done,
Yeah.
but it was all the layers.
Is Renee here, Steve?
No, she did not join us tonight.
Because she used house paint.
So
And
did
Aaron
Erin.
did as well.
Oh,
Aaron was
Erin did too.
on.
Okay, thank
She
you.
used house paint. Not I think
I don't know
most
if
did. Go ahead.
I can speak to house paint. I definitely think as a muralist myself, and actually I'm curious, and that's why if you've done murals, why you chose acrylic because it has a much different. Well, it's acrylic is a pain in the butt for me, but I do my canvases in latex because that's just what. But yes, I would definitely. I know. I helped Renee and Aaron with like we're house paint all the way. Bear coats the best
Hmm.
over Sherwin-Williams as far as I'm concerned. It's better priced. Um, and yeah, I think that would be the route to go. And if anyone needs colors, I have like a paint store in my garage. If it gets down to it and y'all need, yeah, I have so much extra paint, it's ridiculous. So, but
Do you
yeah.
have a feel for, do any of y'all have a feel for how much paint you actually needed for all your coats? I mean, gallons and gallons, I assume, or
Not gallons and gallons. We have one of the tubes over here. It
We
was
just use those.
yeah, we got the golden, and so I think I used the equivalent of like 5 tubes of paint, and then I bought a couple of the smaller ones. So it was like it really wasn't that much paint. Yeah, I thought I was gonna be using more paint. I think, yeah, what about you?
There's so many colors in mine. So
Mhm.
we have so much paint at the house. It
Yeah.
was good. I mean, we had to buy some new paints, but
Yeah, Lee, I think it was one of those things where it's kind of like I grew up using acrylic paint and I was just really excited because I wasn't really sure honestly because I was like it's outdoors. I didn't really know very much. I was like, "Oh, do I use because I've only ever done indoor." And so I was like,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, I was like I kind of want to use the acrylic paint. So that's what we did.
I think
yeah.
it's a
I'm
good
really
Oh,
curious
super cool.
example.
about the house paint now because I'm like this
Yeah.
would fit a
Well, but
lot.
you can get such more vibrancy with acrylics, and so I mean, because then you can also just mix them. I'll pop pigments and like house like into latex because they're just kind of dull. But and apparently they do. I've read that acrylics are sometimes more durable for
Hmm.
exterior artwork.
And
So
Steve, did
Well,
you
that's what
explain the
Google
process
thinks.
after? Steve, did you explain the process after they paint or after they put their whatever they're going to put on them, what we do next?
Well, I briefly told them that they'll return it and then the city will bring it out to have it coated. So they should not it themselves. And really, once you bring it back fully painted, you're done until we unveil, and the city takes care of all that and the mounting and labeling and so forth.
So they're clear coated with the same process that auto body companies, and actually it is an auto body company. So they're put into a clear coating booth at a car auto body shop, and they spray them with clear coat the same that they would on your car. And so it's pretty it withstands a whole lot.
I
It
think
makes
it's,
it shiny. It's really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, so at the end of the day, if it was house paint or acrylic, it's all looks
Yeah.
It's the
same,
same
I think.
finish.
It all
Yeah.
looks, yeah.
Yeah.
well, I think that's a great point. And I think even just the small sampling that we have here tonight, you can see that, whether your approach is to just sort of wing it or you're a very detailed, neat, want to plan it out, that, there's many different ways to do this. If you're most comfortable with acrylics, that's an option. And now we have people that have experience, which I'm sure, if you're part of the 2025 crowd and you have questions, you'll know who the other artists are this year as well as last year. And so you can always ask questions. But I think that, everybody finished on time last year. As I mentioned, some people may have started a lot earlier than others. But as long as you kind of know how you need to plan out your time, then the 3.5 months or so after you get it should be ample. Um,
And
other
we
questions?
do know if you wanted to use vinyl, you could.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be painted. It has to be clear coatable, and we know that vinyl is. Um, but it doesn't have to be painted if you choose not to paint.
yeah. I, I think I remember talking about that with some people last year, and it is certainly an option, as are other things that you might choose
Mhm.
across mixed media to be an option. Just keeping in mind the so many surfaces and the how vinyl might lay out
Mhm.
around corners and stuff, but you guys are more expert at that certainly than I am, so you can gauge whether that's the case. I would assume that you've all probably seen the stars, but if you haven't, or now that you're thinking about actually making one, I would encourage you to go back and take a closer look at the stars that are there and what everybody did, and you might help in your process for deciding how you're going to tackle the project.
Oh, I had another
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
that was really fun. You guys know the Posca markers? They were a game changer for like details and stuff like that. So the Posca markers and the gold Posca marker
Is there acrylic?
was really, yeah.
Yeah, no, that
I
was such a
love
good
the
idea.
gold, so that got me into the gold, but
Yeah.
um the Posca markers
The
really
Posca
fun
markers.
mediums. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first item on the do you qualify on the website page is you must be able to haul the star to your place and then back. And I've had some people ask more questions about that. Certainly, you need a pickup truck. Um, you can't put it in a minivan unless, I guess, if you took all the seats out, but even then, I'm not sure it would fit in the door. It needs to be a pickup truck. You just need to bring blankets or something to protect it. Somebody said, well, I don't have a pickup truck. I am sure if you decided you want to participate and you were a winner, that we could find transportation, or you could find transportation to get it to and from. So if that's the one thing holding you back, I really wouldn't worry about that.
My dad has a Ram 1500, and that was like the perfect size. Like the truck bed of that was like the perfect size. So
Yeah.
if you have something, or if your neighbor has something equivalent, like that's.
Did he do them both at the same time?
No, we did them one at a time.
We were so
I
nervous.
sat in the back of like the bed of the truck my mom was driving because we live 5 minutes away from
Yeah.
downtown. And we yeah, I was holding on to it, but we also like strapped it in, of course. And then she drove, and then we parked, unloaded, and then went back and got the other one. And Steve and Jennifer helped us load it in and out.
And they're not as heavy as you think they're going to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not that
Well,
heavy.
you definitely need two strong
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But they weigh about 70, I think, what did we say, Steve?
Yeah,
75 pounds?
something. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger and heavier than we had maybe anticipated, but two people could
You
certainly.
and I lifted one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to get them off of the truck, I mean, Rob and I took them
Yeah.
off the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need a big guy or some teenage boys or whatever. It can be done.
Yeah.
And I think this is such a supportive community that, I mean, I'll come help any of you take it
I
off
was
if
about
you're
to say,
take
I
off
don't
the
know if we're
truck.
allowed to say that on here, but I'm like, I need like literally just text us and like
Yeah, we'll help
we'll
you.
come over and help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anybody have any other questions?
I have a question, quick question.
Everything.
Hi, Steve, and hi, everyone. So I know on the application process, you're kind of submitting your initial concept, right? So the question is, and also to the artists who have already done this, how far did you deviate, if at all you did, from the original concept you submitted? Versus the final product you did, and how much of a wiggle room there is to do that. Because I know you all are approving the design or the concept that we're submitting. So just kind of if you could speak to that.
Kathy and Melissa?
I deviated a lot. Mine, I mean, it was I started off with a very jewel tone palette, and my palette ended up being a lot more primaries than I thought. But I think, I don't
And
know.
with mine,
Mine was digital. Like I submitted a digital thing and explaining like very well explained, this will be painted, not digital. And then I showed a lot of samples of how I paint acrylic. So
yeah,
I did submit a digital design.
yeah. With mine, I drew mine on the iPad at first. So mine was kind of digital too. But it was very much like a concept. But it was really helpful because when we got like noticed that our stars were selected, the Art League also gave us notes, kind of like the things that they suggested or things we changed. And so it was one of those things where I kind of went and kind I kind of redid the one side and then like sent it back to Jennifer and was like, hey, like, is this okay? And then I kind of went from there. And then of course, like with colors and paints, that's gonna shift and change because you want it to be as vibrant on the star with physical paint as you do digitally. And so it's kind of playing with that, but it's it's up to the artist's perspective too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's all part of the process, I think.
just gotta trust your gut.
I think
Yeah.
the verbiage that the artists provided us, explaining what they were planning to have happen, was very helpful from the city committee and the judges' side. And I would say, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, I think every finished product was more intricate than any of the submissions that we saw on paper. So this is a general idea of what we're planning to do. The committee came back and said things to artists like, that cactus is not native to dripping. So we want a cactus, but it has to be a different one. Or I think with Melissa, she had some musical instruments, and we said we'd like you to incorporate a little bit more of this or that. So the concept and the verbiage that you provided us was sort of what helped us to know what it was going to represent. But honestly, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, all of the designs were way more impressive and more intricate. I would say you don't want to do less than what you tell us you're going to do, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But, more was better, but you don't want to do less than you tell us you're planning. So if
Yeah.
you're telling us you're having 3 children, we expect at least 3 children on the star.
Make it like 10.
Maybe 5.
Like,
I think that's a good statement. I think Veda that certainly if you go back and compare the end result with the designs, there were many differences. Certainly a lot more intricate. you shouldn't spend a huge amount of time on the design itself. But one, think about the theme or themes that you're addressing, because they will be evaluated based on that in part. But the end result will be different. It'll not only be more detailed, the colors, I think generally that's up to you guys. If you want to change colors, that's not a problem. If you want to change some of the dimensions or the parts of the design, I don't think that's generally a problem. If you're going to change theme, or you say it's going to be music and suddenly it's not, or I'm going to have 3 kids in there and you don't have anything like that in there, then that would be a problem. And I would just encourage you, like I think Melissa said, if you have a change and you're a little concerned about it, you can, there'll be people you can contact that we can check and give you an answer before you go off in a different direction. But, there's a lot of leniency for the artist. And part of the reason why the application process, yeah, and the application is a bit extensive, is that we want to see your design, but we also, Jennifer will look at your social media and stuff like that to see. Again, nobody's done a star before, but if you're like me and you have trouble drawing a stick figure, then this is probably not the project for you. And so it's a little bit of, oh yeah, this person clearly has experience, artistic experience, and so that helps to check off a lot of boxes and let us provide the leeway for you guys to let your artistic talent kind of guide you within the scope of the design. Does that help, Beta?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right. If there's anything else, please share. Otherwise, again, the big date is May 23rd, a month from today. This recording will be on the website, but also if you have any questions, you can run them by our email address that is on the application. And we look forward to seeing all your designs.
All right. Thanks for everyone's input. That was very helpful.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited
This is
to see
wonderful.
what you
Thank
show
you.
us this time. It's exciting.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you
Thanks
all.
for
Nice to meet some of y'all. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Okay.